In 1895, this whole patch of land was called Rhodesia, named after Cecil Rhodes, the founder of the British South Africa Company, and on multiple occasions they signed multiple treaties, but tension was building up with the white farmers and the native people. And this problem went into the 20th century, when Rhodesia was turning into a self-governing colony in 1922. To differentiate it from Northern Rhodesia, it was called Southern Rhodesia. Going to the late 60s, Rhodesia's white minority was freaking out over independence. And in October 1965, Prime Minister Ian Smith stated, "Rhodesia did not want to seize from Britain. It was forced upon us." And dang, talk about daddy issues. But the international community did not recognize Rhodesia, except for South Africa and Portuguese Mozambique. And as the economy began to go flat, black nationalist movements began to pop up. But the first, ZAPU, led by Joshua Muboko, representing the Ndebele people, and the ZAPU was supported by the Soviet Union, giving them supplies and whatever they needed. And ZANU was led by Robert Mugabe, representing the Shona people. Mugabe had a Maoist ideology and funded by China. Fighting will break out between both sides, and the Rhodesians will combat this with combining the Army, Air Force, and Special Forces into the Rhodesian Task Force. The Army will lead the ground assaults, the Air Force will lead the skies, and the Rhodesian black snipers would be cover. And as the icing on the cake, they had full air superiority over Rhodesia. In 1964, a group of militants killed 4 white foremen, and this sent shockwaves. And Smith had drastic measures, arresting Joshua and Mugabe, and ZANU and ZAPU were operating in Zambia and Mozambique, making this full insurgency. By this time, the UN and United States placed an embargo on Rhodesia, but that's okay. They were able to smuggle in weapons and get the rest of their equipment from South Africa and Portugal. In August 19th, 1976, in Operation Eland, the Rhodesians raided into Mozambique to destroy a militant base, and they opened fire on all of them. And this kind of strained Rhodesian and South African relations. Why? Well, because they killed a lot of civilians too. By 1977, Rhodesia was split up into multiple geographic regions, and in Operation Dingo, they airstriked the militant base named Chimuelo and got in a helicopter to finish what's left. And this killed a lot of militants and a lot of civilians. Short after Operation Dingo, the African National Council and Rhodesia began to negotiate, eventually forming Zimbabwe Rhodesia. But this was short-lived because the militants didn't agree with the terms, and the militants under Robert Mugabe declared 1979 as the Year of the People, and in 1980, Mugabe was elected president of the newly formed Zimbabwe, and he did some pretty bad stuff. But you're gonna have to wait for me to do the story of Zimbabwe, because I'm not animating a long video. And so that was the story of the Rhodesian Bush War. I give it 10 out of 10 stars.